Alrighty guys, welcome back to another Ishake Adventures video. Today we went to the Cairns Aquarium. Me and Jason were there for multiple hours. We took about 3 walkthroughs and yeah, it was amazing. I was very impressed by what I saw. Um, and yeah, saw a bunch of cool things, and we didn't even record everything, so go check it out. Don't think that we got everything on video. Because yeah, there was a lot to see here. So we're gonna make a couple of videos about it because we want to show you as much as we can without, totally spoiling the experience. But to start us off, one of the first things that you see once you walk in is this cylinder tank of this freshwater moray. There are a couple of freshwater eels, multiple in existence, obviously. But this guy is a freshwater moray, very, very gorgeous fish. Now, most of these animals are going to be, at least allow brackish water. If you don't know what brackish water is, it is the balance between fresh and salt water. So there is a middle ground with that, and in the wild, it mainly happens at like river runoffs into the ocean or like mangrove forests and stuff like that. So most of these species today are going to be brackish since we are in Cairns, Australia, right next to the coast. And yeah, that's just where a lot of really cool fish hang out. But yeah, back on the moray, they will migrate to brackish waters to spawn, such as like, river runoffs and estuaries and stuff. But then they'll actually go back and chill in freshwater for a good amount of their lifespan. They'll get up to about 1.5 meters. They mainly just eat, like small fish, bivalves, such as clams and oysters. They'll even eat shrimp and stuff like that. Next tank we got here was the eel-finned catfish. They're kind of bottom feeders. They'll eat, small crustaceans and stuff like that there. But their population is being affected by carp due to similar eating habits. Carp just seem to mess up everything that they touch, which is why we hate them. But also in this tank we have barramundi. They're a pretty big staple for Western Australia. For many reasons, they're just a fish that is just loved here. They're really good to eat, and so they're also good sport fish because they'll grow up to be about like 200 centimeters. So really cool fish. They'll eat up to anything up to like 60% of its own length and body. So very impressive. It kind of reminds me of gulper cats, if you know what those are. They'll just kind of, eat anything that they see. So yeah, very cool. Over time, they'll also have sequential hermaphroditism, where their sex actually changes from male to female or female to male. So very interesting. I know like clownfish do the same thing, and multiple other species of fish, just animals in general will do that. The female can lay up to about 40 million eggs, but unfortunately, within the first couple weeks to a month, about 90% of those will die. But that still means you have around, like 3 to 4 million eggs that are, successfully hatched. So still very cool, still very impressive. Yeah, barramundis are awesome. You're going to see them in a couple of the tanks we have here today just because they're so widely loved. We could just go on a lot of different types of water types. Next up, we got here's the snakehead gudgeon, or the Geurus margariticea. Sorry about that, but yeah, very cool fish. I think that they're absolutely gorgeous. I think we have a baby one in Hartley's. I think we might have a couple babies that are growing out. At least they look very similar. I'm trying to figure out what they are, but I think they are after seeing this. So they're very cool. This will be about their max size, so about like 17 to 25 centimeters. And all types of water is okay with these guys. These guys are not picky. I might watch it on salt water, but other than that, freshwater brackish, these guys can do it. And then also in this tank we have a long-finned eel, or the Anguilla diffienbachii. Often mistaken for the short-finned eel. If you look up both these species, it's pretty self-explanatory. The long fin has longer fins. Um, Also a freshwater and salt and brackish eel. I'd watch freshwater on these guys. I have heard that, uh, and especially with the moray, watch the saltwater level, because I know it might make them a little bit more sensitive and prone to infection. So just be careful on that. I know they might prefer it a little bit more on the brackish end. Um, but these long-finned eel have really cool migration patterns. A lot of research has been done on actually finding out um, where their spawning locations are. I've heard that it starts in around like bottom of South Wales, even like down to New Caledonia, and then they will spawn leptocephaly young. Basically, that means that the fish is translucent and pretty much all clear. You can see their bones and their organs and stuff like that sometimes, but their entire like sort of outside mass will be translucent, just to make it easier to evade predators. And yeah, invisibles just are hard to catch. So, very, very cool adaptation. I did a research presentation back in Utila on tarpon, and they also have the same type of young, those leptocephaly babies, which is very, very cool. Lots of fish have them. Then we got some turtles. Go check out Jason's video. He's going to be doing all of the reptiles and marine reptiles as well. So go check out his video for that. There were a lot of turtles here. They also had an entire reptile section, and they also had a sea snake. So go check out his video for all of that stuff. Very, very cool. He gets all the reptiles, but not all the crustaceans. So first up here we got the blue crayfish, or the Charax quadricarinatus. Very, very beautiful. I have seen these guys back in the States, but they are native here. They won't look this blue in the wild. It's mainly because they are captive bred and they don't need to worry about camouflage. Camouflage is a big game in the wild, especially when you have tiny little fish or crustaceans like that. So yeah, it won't be as blue, and a little bit different than prawns here. So prawns, they're kind of like crayfish, but they have those long outreaching claws. We have seen prawns out in the wild, but we have not seen any crayfish or anything like that. Yeah, we went out one night and just didn't find much besides a little creek with some prawns in it, so we didn't make that into a video, but I believe that we might have some shorts of that, so go check that out in our previous shorts. And then next up, we have this gigantic tank. This tank was an eye pleaser. And we caught it right when it was feeding, so that's all the stuff that they just dropped in. Like as soon as we turned the corner, they dropped in the food. I was like, yes, this is amazing. So a lot of food for all of those barramundi. I believe those are red jacks, and then we have some plain and spotted chubs. And then, there might be a lot of food and it's all sinking down, but it is totally fine because they also have gigantic whip rays. So those are those big stingrays down there. Whip rays, or Himentura daliensis. Very beautiful and gorgeous animals. I wasn't too sure on how many freshwater stingrays they had out there, but this place just keeps surprising me. They're the only stingray that is confined to brackish and freshwater only, so you're not going to see these guys out on the reefs. They don't like those harsh salinity or marine environments. But they definitely do have, some saltwater stingrays that you guys will see in the next video. But these guys are mainly found in like estuaries and large rivers. I really, really hope we can find one day, but most likely probably not going to happen, mainly because, if it's a large river, then it's a larger that crocs could also be in. So fortunately, we'll see where we get with that. Get some cool equipment, but they'll get up to about 1 meter in diameter, and they'll also eat like small fish and crustaceans. You know, they're really big and they're huge, but if you've ever seen the underside of a stingray, then you know that they actually have pretty small mouths, but it can still do some stuff to those crustaceans. So very, very cool, very gorgeous animals. And next tank here, another cylinder tank. These are spotted scats. Those are the guys up top there, or the Scatophagus argus. And then all of these silvery fish with the yellow dorsal and ventrals are monos, or Monodactylus argenteus. So this is where it's really going to start leaning towards the saltier side of the scale, only requiring brackish or marine environments. These guys don't really like freshwater. I'm not too sure if they can be held in freshwater. I don't know how they'll do in them, but I know that they would much rather prefer brackish or salt water. So yeah, just do your research when getting these guys if you ever do care. I know the king of DIY got a scat and mono tank a while back. Took it down, unfortunately, but still very, very cool to see, and you know where they're native from. So yeah, very cool tank. I love it, and we'll definitely have a scat and mono tank one day. And then finally, this is a long fin batfish, or Platax pinnatus. Very, very cool fish, very gorgeous fish. I think they look cooler when they're juveniles. So when they're juveniles, they're actually going to be all black with a red or orange outline. And it just sort of gives it like this Tron effect that is very, very cool. I see batfish every now and then, and these long fins as well. But I just want to find that juvenile. That juvenile looks so cool. So that's why I thought, you know, it would be a good little ender on this video. But yeah, you think they might have small mouths. They actually only eat about like crustaceans and even zooplankton sometimes. So very, very cool fish. And yeah, also brackish to marine environments. He's not going to like freshwater that much at all. But that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys in the saltwater section.